aspect of this war that I'm loving. Like, as Ukraine started its recent push, when did they really start pushing? 2.5 weeks ago, something like that.
Roughly, yeah.
They were in infantry, right? They're people on foot with hiking boots and guns pushing forward, and then they became like I don't know, something less than mechanized. You know,
it's like Mad Max a little bit.
They've been collecting. They're a mechanized unit now. They keep collecting more and more Russian hardware. They get like fucking missiles. They're getting artillery. They were low on artillery. The Ukrainian army did not have enough fucking like those big bullets that you put the ammo. Now they have more than they need. Why? Because the Russians are leaving them behind as they run for their lives. They're getting tanks. They're getting ammo. They are flush with equipment now because they keep taking over Russian shit.
I watched an interview with a Russian or Ukrainian tanker from like today's battle. It's wild how quick you get like news.
I love modern war.
And he's like, and it's translated, but you can kind of tell in the flexion of him. He's proud. He's like, we showed up and they thought we'd be in trucks. We were in tanks. 3 tanks. We had 3 tanks. And when they saw that, they no longer wished to contend with the fight.
Now
and
we
so
have 4
they
tanks.
that happened. And then like you show him driving and he's like, oh, and he's dragging their fucking tank home with him. Now we'll fight for Ukraine, Slava Ukraine. And I was like, yeah, and everybody there, it's like out of Starship Troopers or something like that, where everybody's like, fuck yeah, Slava Ukraine. Like everybody there is so jazzed on their mission at hand that with that fighting spirit, like they're not gonna stop, man. They're into what they're doing. They're like they're hurting people that they don't like, fighting for their land. And then the you couldn't have a more other end of the spectrum type situation with the Russians who are being drugged to the battlefield and thrown into the fray with substandard shit, told to rob and find tampons, to treat bullet wounds. You tell me to go find my own. They're having to buy their own sleeping bags.
Can I interrupt?
What the fuck?
You know that video we talked about earlier where there was a Russian hiding in the closet and they like,
I got it right here.
Anyways, so he's hiding in a closet. They shot him like 27 times. The top Reddit comment was like, he's going to need a whole box of tampons.
Yeah, if they're like so ill-equipped that they're using tampons and like picking bullets up off the ground like that, that looks very fucking bad.
That's not a fun place to be.
I saw not a fun place to be as like that poor Russian guy that gets like dragged at point of gun and forced to fight a war he doesn't want to. But also like we've made the point before, on the world stage, it makes them appear weak. Like it is a bad look for Russia globally.
It's a good time.
So it does make Russia appear
weak. Are we
weak.
not looking pretty sick right now?
And we're looking pretty sick right now. But one of my takeaways, Woody, the military planner, don't fucking invade other countries. It's really hard. We just lost in Afghanistan, and we're the United States of America. Russia just lost in Ukraine, and they're Russia. I don't know what happened in Iraq, but I don't take it as a clear-cut victory, like we kicked ass or anything. Saddam's dead, so I'm calling it a win. But it's kind of hard to occupy a place and make them your friend. Don't go into some other country looking for war. It's harder than you think.
And Afghanistan did not have NATO providing top of the line equipment and military.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. So the
funny thing about that,
the Soviets flew their fucking helis. The
Soviets did, but we're talking about how much worse their shit was than ours.
The Soviets.
Are you talking about the recent Afghanistan war, Kyle?
Yeah.
I'm talking about when the Soviets were fighting in Afghanistan and the CIA sent.
No, I'm talking about the Taliban and like recently. But
I'm talking about Taylor is saying we just lost in Afghanistan, and the Afghanis were not being supplied with NATO shit, making a comparison to Ukraine.
Yes.
And what Kyle was talking about was whenever we gave the Mujahideen and through
Charlie Wilson's war,
all that equipment over there.
Yeah.
That was the equipment they were fighting against us with.
Yes,
the recent engagement.
You're from the 80s.
Sure, but there's still like Stinger missiles and whatnot.
It's like ISIS with their new Tacomas. It's like where'd you get a Tacoma that said Bill's Quality House Painting with a Minneapolis area code? Like,
But just the same, like we lost in Afghanistan. We did, but that's not a win. You can't possibly call that a win. The bad guys are in charge of it. Don't invade other countries. It's really hard.
The bad guys' friends are in charge of it. We were there for Al Qaeda, and we got them. Okay.
Well, the Taliban was in charge before and after the war,
and they were holding the Al Qaeda members that we wanted, and so we fucked them up for years.
Mark 1 plumbing.
and then once we got all the Al Qaeda taken care of, we moved along. That's hilarious. Poor Mark.
Look at how that truck organically ended up in the Middle East.
Taylor, what are you implying? That
Dude, that fucking gun on the back
sent Tacomas or something?
There's
that
something going on with
cannon.
this. Like they didn't organically get a bunch of Japanese cars.
We sent a ton of equipment over there. We send stuff all the time to countries that we're not officially in. We send operatives to pull strings behind closed doors. It's all shadow stuff.
I feel like Taylor's implying the U.S. government sent Tacomas to our enemies, and maybe I'm missing it.
Yeah, no, like we do supply a lot of moderate rebel groups all over the world, and we have done that. And then as soon as we decide they're no longer moderate and we have different narratives and like goals, we go, oh, these people were by moderate, now they're madmen, and they're like often still using the shit we gave them.
My favorite thing ever is at the end of, I think it's Rambo 3. Have you seen the end title card?
Oh,
yeah.
Kyle loves this. He talks about his favorite
little tidbit.
Fun party conversation. Yeah.
The dealer sold it at auction. That's my take on it. Like these things just get sold at auction or whatever and land up anywhere in the world. I don't think the CIA is giving Mark 1 plumbing trucks to the
no they're not doing that. It's the fact that they're supplying groups in the area, and then that equipment eventually rolls up and ends in someone else's hands. They're not directly, at least not intentionally, directly shipping them to Al Qaeda. They're like, there's a small rebel group who's helping the Americans. Let's send them stuff. And then whenever they get wiped out, it's like, how did they get all these?
They get wiped out, or they were only pretending to be our
missiles.
friends. There's another thing that happens.
Y'all want